He left me in a white dress holding my vows. While 200 people watched my heartbreak in real time, but I didn't cry for long. Because one day, I'd walk down the aisle again, just not for him. Before we begin, tell me where you're listening from. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely? Drop your story in the comments. I read everyone. Subscribe now. New revenge episodes every week. The morning of the wedding, everything was perfect. The sun was warm. The flowers were exactly how Isla imagined. Lilac and ivory, just like her mother's bouquet. The venue sparkled, a small vineyard estate on the edge of Oregon wine country. Guests were already arriving. The string quartet was tuning up. Isla stood in the bridal suite, heart racing with joy, not nerves. She had waited 5 years for this moment with Nathan, the man she believed she'd grow old with. Her mother helped zip the back of her dress, tearing up. Her best friend and maid of honor, Sasha, handed her the bouquet. "You're glowing, Isla. He's going to cry when he sees you," she smiled, unaware of what was coming. Minutes before the ceremony, Isla waited by the doors, arm hooked through her father's. The guests had all taken their seats. The music had started, but the doors didn't open. Instead, her wedding planner approached, face pale. "There's, a message for you." From Nathan, confused, Isla took the phone. It was a text, just a text. "I'm sorry, I can't do this. I'm not ready. I don't think you're the one." Nathan's silence fell around her. She read it 3 times. Then she looked up. The violinist had stopped playing. Her father's grip tightened. What does that mean?" he asked. The guests began murmuring. Whispers floated through the ceremony space. The groom was missing. The bride hadn't walked down. Someone gasped. A woman in the crowd stood and left. And Isla. She stood still. Her world didn't crash. It paused. She walked back into the bridal suite, still in her dress. Sasha followed her, nervous. "Isla, maybe he's panicking." "Maybe we should wait a few minutes." "No," Isla interrupted, calmly. "He made his choice. Let's not give him more time to confirm it." She picked up the long veil that was meant to trail behind her as she walked toward a future. She folded it neatly. She took off her shoes. And she turned to Sasha, "Make an announcement. There won't be a wedding." "Not today." Some cried. Some looked away. Most stared as she walked out, still in her gown, no groom beside her. But her head was held high. One person stood from the back, Daniel, Nathan's older brother. He moved to help her down the steps, offering his arm. She took it, and they walked back to the bridal suite in silence. Back inside, Isla shut the door, ripped off the dress, and finally let it out. She screamed. She cried until she collapsed. Her mother stayed with her that night. No one else. Nathan didn't call, didn't show up, didn't even send an apology. It was over. The wedding that never happened, the fiancé who vanished, and the love story that crumbled in front of 200 witnesses. But this wasn't the end. It was the origin story of something far more powerful. "He left me in front of everyone, but someday soon I'd return, not in tears, but in triumph, wearing white again, but not for him." Last time on Revenge Unfolded, Isla was left at the altar with nothing but a text message. Nathan disappeared, but silence doesn't last forever. Especially when the truth is this ugly. Quick reminder, let me know in the comments, have you ever found out someone was lying behind your back? What would you do if you were in Isla's shoes? Don't forget to subscribe. More explosive episodes coming soon. It took Isla nearly a month to leave her house. Her parents kept checking in. Friends sent flowers and pity messages. But she didn't want pity. She wanted answers. Nathan still hadn't reached out. Not a word since the text. Until one morning, Sasha showed up, the same maid of honor who stood by Isla on her wedding day. But this time, Sasha didn't look supportive. She looked scared. They sat across from each other in Isla's kitchen. Sasha couldn't meet her eyes. "I need to tell you something," she said. "And you're going to hate me." She was shaking. And then she said it. It was me. Nathan was sleeping with me. For almost a year, the world blurred again. "You," Isla whispered. "I didn't mean for it to happen." We got close after work events, and it just spiraled. He said he still loved you, but he wasn't ready. He promised he'd tell you. He never did. Instead, he told Sasha everything. How he didn't believe Isla was exciting enough, how he used Isla's savings for trips he took with Sasha, how he laughed when Isla picked the wedding dress, how he only got engaged to her because his parents pressured him. Isla didn't cry this time. She just stared. Later that day, Isla logged into her bank account, a shared account she and Nathan had been saving in for the wedding. Her stomach dropped. Over $12,000 was missing. Months before the wedding, hotel names appeared in Miami, Vegas, even Paris, all while Nathan told Isla they couldn't afford a honeymoon. She printed it all out. Receipts, transfers, charges. It wasn't just cheating. It was theft, deception, abuse of trust. A few days later, Nathan's mother, Carolyn, came by unannounced. She was pale, holding a stack of papers and shaking her head. "I didn't raise him for this, but I should have known. I knew something was wrong when he told me he didn't want premarital counseling. I didn't want to believe it." Carolyn handed Isla something unexpected, Nathan's old journal. In it were entries that revealed everything. His resentment for Isla's career success, his plans to delay the wedding if something better came along, his fear that marriage would trap him. But the most chilling line, "If I marry her, I'll never get out. But if I ditch her now, the damage will be hers, not mine." Carolyn cried. Isla didn't, because by now, she wasn't broken. She was becoming clear. That night, Isla texted Nathan for the first time since the wedding day. "Don't worry. I don't want revenge. I want peace. But don't be surprised if karma comes dressed in a suit and tie and calls you brother." No reply. But she didn't need one. "He took my love, my trust, and my money. He thought that would leave me empty, but it left me free, and now I'm not just healing, I'm planning." Isla discovered the truth. Nathan didn't just leave her at the altar. He betrayed her with her best friend, stole her money, and mocked her love. But someone else had been watching this all unfold. Quietly, respectfully, and ready to step in. 2 weeks after the truth came out, Isla received a message from Daniel, Nathan's older brother. They hadn't spoken since the day of the almost wedding, when he helped her off the altar platform in silence. "Hey, I know things are still raw, but if you'd ever want to talk, as a friend, I'm here." Isla hesitated. But something about Daniel had always been different, polite, calm, the kind of man who opened doors for strangers without making it a show. He never once flirted or crossed lines during her relationship with Nathan. He'd always just watched, and maybe now it was time to talk. They met at a quiet coffee shop outside the city. No cameras, no curious eyes, no pity, just Isla in jeans and a hoodie. And Daniel in his usual button-down and quiet eyes. "I don't know what to say," Isla admitted. "Everything's ruined. Everything Nathan touched is ruined," Daniel said. "But you're not." She blinked. No one had said that before. He didn't ask about the money. Didn't pry into the drama. He just asked, "What do you want now, Isla?" If there were no opinions, no judgment, no Nathan, what would you choose? She was quiet for a long time, then answered, "I choose peace. And maybe someone who actually shows up." Over the next month, they met a few more times. At first, to talk, then to laugh, then to forget. Daniel never pushed. He just listened, encouraged, and shared his own heartbreaks, including how he always felt overshadowed by Nathan's charm and recklessness. "He's the golden boy," Daniel said. But golden doesn't mean good. One night, they walked along the river. It was raining. Neither had umbrellas. But they didn't run. They just kept walking. Something had shifted. 2 months later, Isla received an envelope. Inside, a single note card. You deserve a wedding day you remember for the right reasons, not for abandonment, but for choice. Mine, yours, together, D. She turned it over. A small diamond ring was taped to the back. Simple, elegant, quiet, just like Daniel. She didn't cry. She didn't laugh. She stood in front of the mirror, holding the ring, and whispered, "They said I'd never trust again." But maybe trust isn't something you find. It's something you rebuild. She messaged Daniel, "Yes, but let's do it our way." He left me at the altar, but now I'm the one rewriting the ending. And this time, the man standing beside me won't run. He'll vow. Nathan humiliated Isla in front of 200 guests by ditching her on their wedding day. But now, months later, she's walking down the aisle again. Not as the abandoned bride, but as the woman who chose something better. And this time, it's personal. It was the same venue. The same lilac and ivory color palette. Same string quartet, but this time, everything was different. The guests were smaller in number, only 60 people. No influencers, no drama, no spectacle, just close friends and family. And this time, Isla walked down the aisle smiling. She wasn't hoping someone would be waiting at the altar. She knew he would be. Daniel stood there, nervous but steady, watching her like she was the answer to a question he never knew how to ask. And as she reached him, he whispered, "Thanks for choosing me." Not because of him, but because of you. Nathan wasn't invited. But he came, not to celebrate, but to watch. He stood beyond the gate, behind the hedges, watching Isla vow her love to his brother. Watching her say "I do," watching her smile, not broken, not bitter, but whole. And worst of all, she never once looked his way, because this wasn't about him anymore. He had made her story about shame. She had rewritten it with grace. Later that evening, Isla was sipping champagne under the stars when someone approached quietly. Carolyn, Nathan and Daniel's mother. She hugged Isla. "You brought peace to this family in a way I never imagined. And if I had to choose which son you ended up with, I'm glad it was the one who earned you." Isla smiled. "Me too." Then she handed Isla a small box. Inside, a delicate locket. On one side, a tiny photo of Isla and Daniel. On the other, engraved words, "Love doesn't run. It stays." The next morning, Nathan messaged Daniel. "You really married her?" Daniel responded, "No, she married me." "You were her past. I'm her future." No reply came back. But Nathan was seen later that week, drunk at a bar, arguing with Sasha, who had now left him too. Turns out betrayal doesn't build foundations. Isla began writing again, something she'd stopped doing after the first wedding. She posted a photo on Instagram, a simple snapshot of her and Daniel, barefoot in the grass, holding hands. Caption, "To the woman I used to be. You weren't weak, you were just waiting to become strong. You didn't get left behind, you just hadn't found the right person to walk beside you yet. And when you did, you didn't look back." He left me at the altar, but the owl was never about him. It was the path to someone better. Someone who showed up, someone who stayed. And that's the only vow that ever mattered.